The most famous drunks who made history. Wondering who the most famous drunks in history were? Look no further than your high school history books. Ulysses S. Grant's alcoholism won the Civil War Union general and later president. Ulysses S. Grant might just be history's most high-functioning alcoholic. Ernest Hemingway's liver was literally sticking out. Author and world-class drinker. Ernest Hemingway was least productive when he was drinking the most. In the summer of 1953, 8 years before his suicide and 1 year after Old Man and the Sea, his final novel published in his lifetime, Hemingway was drinking. Boris Yeltsin got so drunk he thought he could conduct an orchestra. Former Russian President Boris Yeltsin is definitely the most publicly drunk world leader of the modern era, with stories of his benders making headlines worldwide. In 1994, Vincent van Gogh spent all day in the sun, drinking absinthe on an empty stomach. Famous penniless and earless painter, Vincent van Gogh was not only a heavy drinker, he was a heavy drinker of absinthe, the cocaine of the 19th century. Orson Welles was like a tragic Ron Swanson. You've probably seen the clip of actor, writer, and director Orson Welles drunkenly slurring his way through the filming of a wine commercial late in the late 70s. And unfortunately, that wasn't a fluke. Toward the end of his life, for Welles, a typical meal often involved 2 rare steaks and a pint of scotch. Joseph McCarthy drank a quart of booze per day while hunting communists. Communist hunter Joseph McCarthy went from national hero to national disgrace in near record time, a downfall that likely contributed to the increasing severity of the alcoholism that ultimately killed him. During the infamous McCarthy hearings, he was drinking a quart of liquor a day. Richard Nixon got so drunk he wanted to nuke Vietnam. Former President Nixon was drunk throughout his presidency, according to Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh. He sometimes drank exceptionally at night, to the point where you couldn't reach him at Camp David. He even once had a few too many at a restaurant in Miami and offered a random woman a job at the White House. Winston Churchill drank wine for breakfast and scotch for brunch. Winston Churchill's drinking was so legendary that the Churchill Center, founded in 1968 to educate new generations on the leadership, statesmanship, vision, courage, and boldness of Sir Winston Churchill, has a whole page dedicated to carefully setting the record straight. The consensus is that the former British Prime Minister was alcohol dependent, but not an alcoholic. Jackson Pollock lived and died drunk. Famous abstract expressionist. Jackson Pollock had a fatal love affair with alcohol. He tried to get help. Doctors prescribed him tranquilizers. His family made him vegetable juices, Brussels sprouts and dandelion juice, healthy smoothies and fruit drinks, but ultimately, nothing could get him to kick the habit. Sultan Selim II was known as the Drunkard. Sultan Selim II ruled the Ottoman Empire from 1566 to 1574, the year he died in a less than dignified manner. Drunk with Cyprus wine, he tottered to take a bath, slipped on the shiny marble floor of the hammam Turkish bath, and broke his skull. Mark Twain never refused a drink. Author Mark Twain's legacy as a hard drinker even trickled down to his 150th birthday celebration in 1985 in his hometown of Hannibal, MO, as reported by Eileen Ogientz of the Chicago Tribune, who opened her report with the following line: "There are some in Mark Twain's hometown who think he was no better than an old drunk." Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, drank all day in style. Elizabeth Angela Marguerite Bowes-Lyon, also known as Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, lived to be 101, despite a life of heavy and expensive drinking. She reportedly started her day with her favorite tipple, gin and Dubonnet, 2 parts Dubonnet, a pink vermouth to 1 part gin. With lunch, she would enjoy red wine with port after. She called 6 p.m. her magic hour, and would always enjoy a martini at that time. With dinner, she would drink 2 glasses of Veuve Clicquot pink champagne.